The first thing I'm going to teach you is how to work. And then I'm going to work you until you drop.
It's Sunday morning on CBS, and here again is Charles Osgood.
That's Elizabeth Taylor, starring in the 1978 movie Return Engagement, which never ran in a movie theater. It was a television movie, and it aired on the long-running series Hallmark Hall of Fame. And if you're surprised, Cynthia Bowers is about to show us more surprises.
Hello? My name is Irena. Can you tell me yours?
In The Courageous Heart of Irena Sendler, Anna Paquin plays a social worker who in real life saved the lives of 2,500 Jewish children in Nazi-occupied Poland.
I can't say enough about how impressive she is.
It's a story, Paquin feels, that's important to tell on television.
I think it's really great that people can just sit at home and watch it because they're probably more likely to, have their whole family there.
And if the whole family's watching, it's probably no surprise that it's the 236th presentation of the Hallmark Hall of Fame. It's been that way since the dawn of television.
But Hallmark has been around almost the entire history of American broadcasting.
Ron Simon is a television curator at the Paley Center for Media in New York.
It's one of the few institutions that sort of remain unchanged from the very beginning, from post-war America into 21st century America.
Don't cry, mother dear, don't worry for me.
The Hall of Fame first aired on Christmas Eve, 1951, with the legendary opera A Mole and the Night Visitors.
It was an exciting way to be part of a new medium at that time.
Don Hall Jr. is the grandson of J.C. Hall, the founder of Hallmark, which sells half the greeting cards in America today. J.C. Hall started the privately owned company 99 years ago in Kansas City, Missouri, selling postcards door to door.
Under the bed, shoeboxes held the company's entire inventory.
When television came along, Hall found the perfect medium for his message.
The Hallmark Hall of Fame takes great pleasure in bringing you the first television appearance.
I think he saw this emerging new medium developing and felt that there was a great opportunity to associate the Hallmark brand with quality and good taste.
And they found one of the nicest ways to express their feelings is with a Hallmark card.
Sponsoring a show wasn't unusual back then.
Hallmark was one of many sponsors bringing drama to American television. You had the Philco Playhouse, the Armstrong Circle Theater, Kraft Television Playhouse.
But Hallmark delivered the classics.
To be or not to be, that is the question.
The Hallmark Hall of Fame embodied the best of television in the 50s. It was live television, it was dramatic for about 90 minutes to 2 hours, and it really gave a sense of theater.
In 1953, Hallmark aired the first televised production of Shakespeare's Hamlet to an audience of more than 20 million viewers, a third of the audience watching TV that night.
More people watched that television production than had watched Hamlet cumulatively on stage up until that time.
When shall we three meet again?
It was another Shakespeare production that made a different kind of television history.
All hail Macbeth, hail to thee.
Then in 1960, they made the first 2-hour television movie. They actually filmed Macbeth in Scotland.
By then, the Hall of Fame was on a roll, airing several specials a year, timed to air around card-buying holidays.
Hallmark has tried to find the dramas that resonate in each era of American television.
Abe, how would you like to run for the state assembly?
When?
Now, for the election in the fall.
Why?
In the 1960s, there was Jason Robards performing in Abe Lincoln in Illinois. In the 70s, Faye Dunaway and Betty Davis in The Disappearance of Amy, a film about the alleged abduction of evangelist Amy Semple McPherson in 1926. To Philadelphia Inquirer television critic Jonathan Storm, the films have largely succeeded.
I would say that a solid
66 2/3% of the movies are actually worth watching. Pound for pound, it's by far the best thing that's ever been on TV. Because there's a lot of pounds.
Storm has his favorites, among them Promise, a searing tale of schizophrenia starring James Woods and James Garner.
It's like all the electric wires in the house are plugged into my brain.
It dealt with an issue that was very real to so many people, very carefully and very gently.
This is my castle. Look what a great job I did.
The 1986 program received more awards than any other television movie in history. In all, the Hallmark Hall of Fame has won 11 Peabody Awards and 79 Emmys, more than twice the number of any other television series. As for casting, Storm's vote goes to Sarah, Plain and Tall, starring Christopher Walken and Glenn Close, the highest-rated TV movie of the 90s.
No, I'm used to having things done a certain way.
And I'm not used to being told what to do.
I see that.
If you look at the actors that have been in the series, it's just, there's nothing else like it.
Stubborn, aren't you?
And you're not.
In fact, a quarter of all Academy Award winners have appeared on the Hall of Fame. From Henry Fonda and Anthony Hopkins to Jessica Lange and Sophia Loren. But what strikes Storm most about the films these days is their tone.
It's all very quiet. And it makes you cry.
And if the sentiment is sometimes just this side of corny, well, Storm says that's a Hall of Fame specialty.
They live in the corn. The whole thing is in the corn. And yet the corniness never sticks to it. It's really uncanny. I don't know if they have some little man back in some room who tweaks them just to make sure that they pull these emotions out of you.
That would be this man, Brad Moore. He runs Hall of Fame Productions.
Most of the movies are about relationships.
And that isn't old-fashioned or passé?
We don't think it's old-fashioned. We think it's always in fashion.
What is old-fashioned is what you won't see in a Hall of Fame movie. Sex scenes.
No sex scenes.
People ripping their clothes off.
No people ripping their clothes
Profanity.
off. Little or no profanity.
Shoot 'em up violence that's not about a war.
Not often. Not much of violence.
And what makes you think people want to watch that?
They want to watch it because there are affirming stories and they learn something. There's content that is meaningful.
The Hall of Fame is now the last single-sponsored movie franchise on network television.
Some candid views on Hallmark Valentines.
What kind of Valentines do you like to give?
And the surprising thing, says Moore, is that viewers actually watch the commercials as intently as the program.
I like the kind of Valentines you punch out.
Our research shows that they like the commercials sometimes more than the movies. And we'll get letters of complaint that, oh, my favorite commercial, you didn't show it this time.
I was 10 years old that Christmas.
And the one that's prompted the most mail? This 2.5-minute spot about a boy waiting for his brother to come home for the holidays.
Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining.
It's vintage Hallmark. A little corny, a lot sentimental.
For yonder breaks a new and glorious morn.
But 58 years after the very first Hall of Fame, can a series that carries this sort of advertising last? Jonathan Storm thinks that recently the Hall of Fame has had more misses than hits.
And as TV has gotten better, the Hallmark Hall of Fame doesn't always look as good as it used to.
But the biggest heart, I know. But to risk everything for something you know nothing about.
Still, Brad Moore thinks that old-fashioned time is on Hallmark's side.
We're the ones that have been at it for about 60 years now, and I think we'll stay with it another 60 years.
You see a man drowning? You must try to save him even if you cannot swim.